Looking for some basic tips on how to use both assistive and mainstream technology in general? Check out the Teachavision section on our website.
The opinions expressed on Teachavision are solely those of the guests and hosts and do not represent other companies or third parties. Thank you for listening.
Hello, and welcome to Teachavision, a podcast by Screenless Allies, where everyone has a different vision of learning. And now, here's your host, Jose Briceño.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 58 of Teachavision. Happy Labor Day weekend if you're listening to it today, Sunday, August 31st. Man, can you believe we are actually getting closer and closer to another new year? Man, it's crazy. Time flies. Definitely enjoy life for sure. Well, on today's episode, we're going to finish up my rambling of what I discovered at the convention at the National Federation of the Blind. If you have not checked out episode 57, where we started talking about this, we encourage you to go check that out. And today, we're going to talk about multi-line braille devices and also backpacks, canes, and robotic push toys. All that and more right here on Teachavision by Screenless Allies. Now that leads to the Monarch and multi-line supports on screen readers. So, for those of you that don't remember, the Monarch is the, quote, first ever tactile graphics display in the market, end quote. However, the graffiti braille display from Orbit Research was the first prototype of this concept. And that is still being sold to this day by Orbit Research. And we got to look at one of those, and it's still going. This Monarch was a partnership between the companies Humanware and the American Printing House for the Blind. And they made basically a braille note taker that has tactile graphic capabilities. The Monarch is 10 lines by 32 cells. The cool thing, like I said, is tactile graphics. It can make tactile graphics. And the refresh around that is pretty cool. And right now, until they make a full-fledged solution, when you have your finger on the graph itself and you pan around on it with the buttons, you have to take your hands off of there before it can do the graph properly, or show it, I should say. Otherwise, some dots will stay pushed down. Now, Dot, who is the creator of the cells that they use on this device, has made a new generation of cells that is supposed to not do that. It's supposed to be a lot quicker at refreshing. So we'll see if the American Printing House will adapt the Monarchs to work with these new cells. I really hope they don't make you buy another one of these, because those graphic displays are $20,000. So that being said, this is aimed toward education areas. And the cool thing this year about this display is that now there is multi-line braille support on screen readers that they're working together with the company Freedom Scientific that makes JAWS for Windows. Yes, the paid screen reader. And for those that don't know, a screen reader basically reads the screen to you on a computer, and you interact with it with the keyboard, and it talks or does braille. And this year, they are launching multi-line braille, not just single line support on JAWS. Now, NVDA, which is the free version, non-visual desktop access, which is made by NV Access, they already had multi-line support for some displays. But this year, they're also releasing support for the Monarch as well. So this will be very interesting. For right now, the Monarch will only be supported for the Braille terminal via USB, and Bluetooth will come soon after. So that also means that right now, there's no support for iOS connectivity to VoiceOver in regards to terminal stuff. But in a second, I will talk to you about what you can do with the Monarch and your iOS device. We are now starting to see multi-line braille coming to screen readers for the first time, kind of more well-known this year compared to last year. So I am very curious to see where exactly we're going to land with this. What kind of braille displays will come out with multi-line? Where are we going? Well, we're going to find out, hopefully in the next few years. And that also goes into the dot pad. There's a new generation of dot pad out that actually will do multi-line braille, which is really cool. On NVDA right now, it only works with NVDA. JAWS support will come this fall. Also, iOS already supports this in many ways. So you can actually read Braille on the bottom where the 20-cell display is, or you can read it multi-line on the top. Or you can have the 20-cell do the text and then the top be images. I mean, VoiceOver has already customized this in a way that has been crazy. So you have to have iOS 18 or above for this to work. But that is really cool. So apart from that, NVDA, like I said a little bit ago, also will work with this. The DotPad and Monarch have another capability in common, which is drawing. Now, Monarch calls it Wing It. Get it? Wing It. Because the Monarch was named after the monarch butterfly, and the butterfly has wings. This is so funny. They have an app on iOS called Wing It now that you can download, and you would draw on the device, on the iPad, I should say, and on the Monarch, it comes out in real time. The DotPad does the same thing, and we actually got to try this with Dot Incorporated. Remember, they're the ones that make the Braille cells for the Monarch. We got to try this with them. They loaded the app on an iPad for us, turned off VoiceOver, and we just started drawing. And as we drew, whatever came out came on the Braille display, which was really, 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 really cool. And the app for the iPad for the DotPad, I know that's weird to say, isn't it? The name of the app you'll need for the DotPad is called Dot Canvas. Honestly, if we're seeing this, imagine the scenario in school. Imagine that you don't have a tactile graphic available in front of you and you can't find it on the database of the Monarch or somewhere online for an iPad to show off on the DotPad itself. Well, a VI teacher can go in and make you a quick sketch drawing of something, and it comes out on the Braille display in real time. So that is a really cool concept, and I hope that it just keeps getting improved on more and more as the time goes on. The DotPad costs $10,000, and honestly, that is a reasonable price for what this display can do. Now remember, this DotPad does not have any word processor, no Wiktionary, none of that. This is a standalone Braille display that you would have to connect to a computer or a phone. Now, I will say, over the years, I'm sure the price will go down on these graphic displays, but since the technology is new, I can understand why it is a bit pricey. And let's just be real, the blindness market is a niche market, so I can't just go and buy one for $1,000. That would be nice, but yes, that is the current cost of the DotPad, $10,000. Those were two pretty cool concepts. Like I said, DotPad already kind of had this before the Wing It app with the Monarch. Now, both displays have this ability. So that's really cool. Now, what I would like to see is if on the Braille displays themselves, you can draw something and it actually also pops up in real time. So not just using an app. I would like to see this natively built in to these devices. So we will see where this goes.
If you need help with how to use a feature or troubleshooting the current Braille display line from the company Humanware, check out the Brailliant section on our website, where you will find articles that are easy to understand and to the point.
Continuing on, an honorable mention real quick to Field of Vision. They have, if you're looking for pouches, backpacks, anything in between, they have it. Handmade from South Korea. Definitely go look at their website. There's a lot of stuff to look into. They have phone holders, cane pouches, keychains. They really have pretty much anything you can ask for in regards to carry case, anything. Their backpacks are pretty cool as well. And I actually bought a phone pouch from them, and it's really nice because I can put in my wallet and my phone, and you put it around your neck and you close it, and it's a pretty cool little to keep your phone and wallet in there. So definitely check them out. We'll put their website on the show notes. Also, Ambutech has released their slimline version of canes. So if you like Ambutech like I do, basically these are thinner canes. And honestly, according to the Ambutech representative at the table, she said that these canes were more intended for emergency purposes. So it's a slim graphite cane. It's about as thin as, how would we describe it? It's about as thin as maybe a number 2 pencil. Maybe a little bit thicker than that, but not by much. And it folds. So, like I said, you can get it in all your measurements. And once you get it, you can use that as an emergency cane. Also, the grip is a foam grip. So that is the difference. It's supposed to be a cheaper edition in a way of the cane, but it's not designed to use pretty much all the time, because when I actually gave them my height, they said that it would be a lot more flimsier. So this is not designed, at least in my opinion, for everyday travel. This is designed for emergency cases where your other cane breaks and you have a backup in your backpack. So that is what I'm going to be getting myself, an emergency cane, the Ambutech Slimline cane. And they also have the cane holsters and cane pouches, and of course the different kinds of canes and tips. Like I said, go check out their website. We'll put that on the show notes as well if you want to know more information about this. Continuing on, we're going to put the best for last. This little item is about glidance. Now, if you remember last year, we talked about the Glide, which is basically, to put it simply, a robotic cane. Think of it this way, a pre-cane device, which is basically a PVC pipe cane for babies. So if you remember, actually, you know what? No, this is the best comparison. If y'all know the push toy for babies, you know, that you can push in front of you. Yeah, that push toy went to a bar, got intoxicated, took a few other things that we're not going to go into, and it turned into this robotic device. Glidance looks just like that. And honestly, it has gotten a lot better this year. The Glide, I got to go try it out again at the convention, and it is doing much better than last year. Of course, there are still kinks to work out, but that's okay. This is why it's not out yet in the market. And I'm glad that the Glidance company is making Glide as perfect as possible. Of course, it won't be always that perfect. You never rely solely on technology to get you places. But this year, we were able to walk around the exhibit hall, and it was managing crowds really well. It turned you and made you swerve and made you go pretty much around everything and everyone. So we've definitely gotten better. And of course, there were buttons on the device that you could use if you do need to make the turn, and it would help you make those turns. So really, Glide has become more mature compared to last year. Last year it was still great. This year it's getting better. We will see what it holds in the next few years for sure, because honestly, the Glide is going to be a revolutionary product for people that are blind and visually impaired. So this will be really cool to follow. Thank you to the guys at Glidance for allowing me to test drive this device. Technology has gotten so far now. AI is getting better. It's getting scary better, actually. I do have my doubts about artificial intelligence, but I think if it's used for good, like the Glide, I think we will get far. Since we're talking about canes and stuff, shout out to WeWalk. They have also made kind of something similar. This is an actual straight cane, kind of like what you would normally have like from Ambutech or from other places. And this device is supposed to detect obstacles, and it does that real well. If it detects an obstacle, it will vibrate. And if you need to go somewhere, it's supposed to also give you directions. The only downside is if you buy the device, you have to buy a cane with it. You can't take off, because technically speaking, it's a cane. And if you think of a folding cane, the top joint of it where the grip is where the device is. You can't uninstall that and put it somewhere else, like on your personal Ambutech cane, for example. You have to actually buy the full cane, which honestly I hope they work on, because not all of us want to buy the whole cane. We just want to buy the accessory. So we will see how that goes. There's going to be WeWalk and WeWalk Plus, and that's supposed to add a lot more AI support to that. So we shall see how this goes. So as you saw, there was really not much this year at this convention in regards to the technology, but what did come out was pretty cool. Apart from that, I got to experience a couple of firsts in New Orleans. Number one, I got to try the fried fish from New Orleans. Really, really good. We got to walk down Bourbon Street. That was pretty fun, listening to the music that came from pretty much every block when we walked down the street. Also, shout out to a friend that I made down there. Shout out to Mimi, my Lyft driver, that actually got me to the airport safely at a very early hour in the morning. So shout out to you if you're listening to this podcast episode. Thank you for all your help. Also, I got to try the infamous beignet. If you have not had a chance to try that, I highly recommend you try it because it is really, really, really good. If you enjoy funnel cakes and if you enjoy sopapillas, then I think you're going to enjoy this because think of it as a hybrid between a sopapilla and a funnel cake. It is really, really good. That is the best way I can describe it. Also, it is NSFD, not suitable for diabetics. Beignets are definitely not something that I would recommend having if you have diabetes. Just saying. It is really sweet, but really, really, really good. So, thank you to those that listened to this wrap up. And it was fun going to New Orleans, Louisiana. But overall, though, it was a great experience, great adventure. Shout out to the rest of the crew, Edgar, Ahmed, their respective girlfriends, for giving me a great adventure.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Teachavision. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to check out previous shows, which are equally informative and fun as this one. Make sure to also check out our website at screenlessallies.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/ScreenlessAlliesOfficial. Do you have any suggestions or comments? Why not email us, info@screenlessallies.com. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.